Listen, we are back. Make sure you like this video as you are coming in. Make sure you like it. Thank you. What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New, and honey, I am back in the building. Listen, this time, honey, I'm here to get some comments, honey, from the peoples on this whole situation with Miss Melody Cherie versus AL versus the content creators, okay? Okay, so some people are saying that AL is allegedly accusing Melody of him losing his job. The person says if his job had rules about social media and was on the clock doing social media while doing his job, and he didn't get permission, showing children in his care can be grounds for termination. He was careless about doing his lives at work. And I thought he said that he didn't work with children. So I don't really know what's true or what's not true on that. Another person says he will not just go away. I know he has to be tired. Hell, I'm tired. Another person says this man went from 36,000 to 16,000, finally 6,000. My question is, what happened to the lawyer? That is my biggest question. Why your lawyer or yourself dropped the other suit? Another person says people need to pull up the real court documents of the real reason he is suing Melody. It has nothing to do with Melody. Please pull up the docs. Another person says he must not be earning a lot if he is only suing for 6,000. This is a stupid lawsuit. It's funny, he didn't mention any of the disgusting videos that he made about Mel, her mom, and kids for over a year after she checked him. Even when he was dropped these videos, he dropped these videos with coleslaw, he was still harassing her. He must don't think she has proof of all of that. Yeah, like your content, it tells on yourself. You over there with Ariane because you didn't get your way with Melody. Another person says AL sounds so childish. If Melody would have agreed to befriend him and allowed him in her circle, none of this would have gone this way. But since she did not befriend him, he is having a tantrum. It is ugly and it is uncalled for. Put your big girl panties on, man, and stop acting like a girl. This is my opinion. This is so juvenile. Another person says Mel's attorney is going to wipe the floor with this bogus lawsuit. Mel has that loaded red phone and witnesses locked and loaded with meticulous evidence files on everything she needs to prove her defense position. They also can reach into the forensic cloud files to see what he's been deleting. We saw how he tried to damage her character by dragging her into and posting her pics when Kiki was having issues on the show. At the time, the show was Mel's job. So what was his purpose in trying to imply to his viewers that she may have done something negative, and that is why that was okay for him to imply? With all of what he's done on social media against her and others, she should be the one suing him. Mel had nothing to do with Kiki's issues. Kiki had her own personal producer guiding her on the show, and she later verified that Mel wasn't a part of her issues. It was the Snots and others around her causing her issues. However, he posted Mel's photo on his social media and attempted to infer a negative by asking his viewers if she did something wrong, what would they say? Male isn't responsible for what goes on with others on their jobs, issues, and what people choose to do on their own. If you got multiple issues on your job, that's between you and your supervisor to resolve. No employer can take drastic steps to terminate your employment without concrete evidence that violates company compliance policies and performance guidelines, or you can sue your employer for wrongful termination. It's not what outside people say. A supervisor has to investigate what is really going on and produce concrete evidence. Even then, they have steps to use that doesn't result in automatic termination unless it's really bad violation of company policies. You best believe Male's attorney will be pulling out all the applicable stops, including his work history, performance files, and supervision write-ups by his manager. If that's the case, the attorney can also do a virtual FaceTime court appearance testimony with the supervisor during proceedings. You can't just accuse and blame someone of your shortcomings and say that that's why things happen the way they did on your job. Plus, how he gonna sue someone that he's been taking digs at for the past few years, since 2023 to 2025. Yet, according to KB, he allegedly was just trying to make more contacts with Male in recent months with something that wasn't his business. Yeah, remember Carson Blue said she got a message from him saying that he wanted to talk to her about Melody. So you was just trying to get, in touch with Melody. And once again, it sounded like you didn't get what you wanted. So you got upset. Okay? How many times does Male have to say to stop bothering her? That's another thing with these toxic people. They are relentless. They are relentless. She has the right to defend herself and her family. To top it off, the guy from an all-male podcast has come forward and exposed him for contacting him for some negative BS that he had nothing to do with, allegedly as another attempt to dig towards her character. All that he said and done negatively against her and her family and her team. I'm sure she has a saved file of evidence and witnesses from start to finish. If he wants to face the music in court, trust and believe Male stays on ready. Go, Male, go. Show them how it's done, and when they keep entering your orbit while you mind your business, and they keep poking the bear. So the court documents, you guys, are out here, and they pretty much state that AL is saying, Melody caused him to lose so many subscribers. He's only at 17, and he lost so many subscribers. Didn't she help him? She helped him with his platform. She had like a lot of mellow meters, like subscribe to his channel. Okay, so listen, when you lose subscribers, sometimes it's because a person, recognizes that you are simply not a fit for them anymore. They don't like you, as a content creator. They don't like your growth or lack thereof. People have the right to subscribe to whoever they want, So Melody helped you to build your platform, and people saw how you were treating her. Okay? They saw it. So they made a choice. And you don't like the choice because it doesn't equal what you want, the outcome that you want from the situation. So one person says it's frivolous. There is so much evidence of him harassing and disparaging Male. He spoke on her kids and mother. He allegedly called others to help him bring her down. God will vindicate Melody. Another person says if he lost subscribers, it was from his own doing. Another person says, how could AL talk about his image and character being attacked when he talked about Mel's mother's weight? Yep, I've seen those videos. And everything else, Mel's children, and talked down about Mel. He forgot Mel kept receipts. Mel is ready for him. He needs to cancel this lawsuit immediate, period. Another person says he damaged his own reputation by the content he put out and the chaos he caused. See, this is other people just simply sitting back watching the movie, watching it play out, watching you play yourself. Okay? You have to take accountability for your behavior. Another person says he is an attention seeker and a stalker, just sick. Another person says AL is the one that started all this mess on YouTube. He's a messy person and not to be trusted. He will lose this lawsuit. Another person says, I think his problem is he thought he finally had a way on the show through Wanda, and when that fell apart, he got desperate. He has a weird obsession with Mel and that show. Another person says, after what he did to Kiki, I lost all respect for him. He is very delusional, and they are grown women who encouraged him with his nonsense. He wants to be a part of that show, that shit show, so badly. Another person says that countersuit is gonna be epic. Dude is obsessive and problematic. She set boundaries and rejected him. He has been on a witch hunt ever since. He has nothing left to lose and has blackballed himself, but blames Mel for his downfall. Another person says this man is insane. He inserted himself in drama. Now he wants to sue. I hope she gets a restraining order and a gag order on that clown. Oh my God, these people, honey. Oof, look, the people are out, honey. The people are out. And they are dragging, child. It's a mess. Sad case, honey. Shout out to Aunt Leola. Y'all know what I keep hearing about this situation is Carlos King is behind this. No, not for no $6,000, girl. No, Carlos got... See, when you have money, you don't try to get $6,000. Yeah, I don't think Carlos is behind this at all. I don't think so. Now, anyways, let's move along to our next story. Okay, so the Tory Lanez case, it takes a turn with new claims about Meg the Stallion. And Meg the Stallion, honey, is my girl. Miss Robinson, love you, honey. I love your tone, your delivery. I love me some Meg, honey. Team Meg. So, a legal team is seeking justice for Tory Lanez, who is currently serving a 10-year sentence in the shooting of Meg the Stallion. A press conference was held on Wednesday in which multiple people stated that Lanez, born Daystar Peterson, never fired the weapon. This comes as he continues to recover at a Bakersfield hospital after being stabbed multiple times by a convicted killer. Oh, wow. They are all hoping that with this new evidence, he will be released and will not have to return to prison. So they are stating that the girl, Kelsey, did it, and it wasn't him. Attorney Walter Roberts spoke about Lanez's innocence and said the rapper never fired the weapon and that it was Megan's former best friend Kelsey Harris who shot her that night. Harris fired at Megan 3 times. Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody. never even touched them. He never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw two women fighting, claimed Lanez's attorney, Walter Roberts. There were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. He also said that Harris's bodyguard overheard her confessing to the shooting. What do y'all think of that? That is crazy. Okay, so let's see what these people think about this, child. So one person says, okay, if he didn't do it, why in the world would he take the blame for doing it? Why is Tory Lanez taking the blame for the person who did shoot Megan? Why won't he tell who did it? He is the fool for taking the blame. Another person says, the whole fact is that she got shot by fragments. Tory had a whole trial. He never said she shot her. He only said that on the phone she was crying and apologizing. Another person says he's not coming home. He's going up against some real devils. Another person says Jay-Z did not set him up. Stop mentioning Jay-Z's name. We all know you don't like him. Roc Nation represents Megan because that's their artist in terms of management. So yeah, they had to look out for their artists. Tory put himself in that situation, not Jay-Z. Because a lot of people is blaming Jay-Z and saying that Jay-Z just blindly took up for Megan because she's his artist and that whole thing. What y'all think of that? Another person says, I knew when Meg originally told the story on live, lies were being told. She even lied to Gayle King. She only lied to Gayle King about did she sleep with him. That don't mean shit. She don't owe her dating history, her sex history, none of that. Okay? So another person says Megan and her dusty friend need to go to jail. Another person says this sounds like a setup and somebody needs to be held accountable. Another person says the LAPD and the DA office needs to be investigated. Another person says Meg Thee Stallion, her lawyer, the judge, and prosecutor should all get sued with Megan going to jail. Another person says, people didn't believe me when I said it was Kelsey. Nobody listened. Megan and Kelsey were fighting. Why would Tory need a pow pow? Hello, they need to let him out. In the era of smartphones, Ring cameras, and regular cameras in an affluent neighborhood, they got cameras every damn where. Somebody got the real footage. This case needs to be reopened. Tory deserves justice. Another person says Tory Lanez should be free. That man doesn't belong in a jail cell. Megan and her associates should be held accountable for their lies, their misleading behavior, and their malicious ways that almost cost that man his life, even from behind bars. It's sad when he has to go through all of this emotionally, mentally, and physically. Even after recovering, his body will never be the same, all because of a female lie. Justice for Daystar. I still don't like him. Okay? I still don't like him. Still ain't on his side. He was still talking shit to Meg and, So, child, it's a mess. But, yeah, I say, I still don't see it for him. Still don't think he's a good person. I don't. Oh, child, did y'all see that interview with Nene and Tamar? And Tamar called Lonnie Love Big Black Cadillac. I said, you better stop calling that woman that. And Nene, I guess she's still working with Lonnie Love. That's interesting. Her and Tamar are back cool. The people was dragging Tamar and that damn hairline. Okay, damn hairline all pushed back. I was like, ooh, child, just get you a glueless wig, Tamar. But yeah, they are neighbors, honey. And Nene was supposed to be on the reel, but I guess she had to reject the contract, and Lonnie Love ended up getting the job. Child, it's a whole mess. Oh, they both called out Candy. Nene said, honey, she is willing to sit with Miss Candy Burris. Tamar accused Candy of being a liar and being sneaky and a manipulator behind the scenes. I told y'all a long time ago that I saw through Candy's like passive aggressive ways. Yes, Tamar is problematic. Don't get me wrong. And Tamar can be a troublemaker, and she's extra and she's messy. We can't negate that, honey, because that's true, okay? But Candy has always been passive aggressive. Candy has always tried to act as if she's so humble. She's really competitive with the girls. She is. She tries to kind of downplay it. Sometimes she'll admit to it, but yeah, it's something about her character I was never feeling. I was never really, feeling all like that. But when Candy right about stuff, she is right. She did call out Portia and Shamia's friendship, honey, a long time ago. She said that Portia be treating Shamia like shit. So I do, look, when Candy right. But, some of what Tamar was saying about Candy, it is true. It's just whether or not people will admit to it, because it's Tamar saying it. The messenger is always very important. But yeah, it was a really good interview with Nene and Tamar. What did y'all think about it? Okay, now really, let's talk about this Diddy trial that is going on, honey. Have y'all been keeping up with it? So let's go through the bullet points, honey. Okay, so we have the Diddy Smex trafficking trial. It's against former rapper Sean Diddy Combs. It began on Monday, May 12, 2025 in a New York court. Combs' lawyer is Mark F. Nafilio, founding partner of Ag Nafilio, Intrader, and Tenny Geragos. Child, I don't know how to pronounce these people's names. We got Cassie. She has recently testified. She took the stand Tuesday as she testified about the alleged abuse she experienced at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs. The two dated from 2007 until 2018. That is a long ass time. Authorities charged Sean Diddy Combs with multiple counts of racketeering, conspiracy, smex, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transporting for prostitution in an indictment unsealed in September of 2024. There will be no cameras in the courtroom for Diddy's trial, as photography and videography is not typically allowed in the federal criminal trials. And Judge Arun is overseeing the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Cassie Ventura, and shout out to Fox News, who produced this article. Cassie Ventura explained on the witness stand that Wednesday that she testified against her ex-boyfriend, Sean Diddy Combs. Where the love at? I see they got rid of that damn love. Okay, that remind me of Martin. We both love sex, so how is there no damn love? You remember that one episode, okay? With him and Gina, honey, they couldn't go without the sex, child, a mess. But yeah, honey, they got rid of the love, honey. Okay, because it used to be love this and love, look, love don't live here anymore. Love ain't never existed, okay? So she says, I can't carry this anymore. She told the court, I can't carry the shame, the guilt. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. The jury was dismissed at 4:25 after the prosecution rested on Cassie's testimony throughout the day. Jurors heard Cassie describe allegedly being raped by Diddy after their breakup. She claimed to enter rehab and pursued trauma therapy toward the beginning of 2023 after suffering horrible flashbacks on set of a music video. Cassie claimed Diddy allegedly threatened her and Kid Cudi when he found out about their relationship through correspondences on her phone. The singer, who is now 38, had already broken up with Kid Cudi in 2011 and was visiting Diddy in Arizona when he allegedly told her that he was going to, we'll say, bow up. Okay, bow up, but y'all know what I'm saying. Cudi's car when he was out of the country. She also described a night in 2007 or 2008 where Diddy allegedly beat her in the back of an Escalade after she struck him. The two were fighting over the rapper flirting with someone else, Cassie testified. After Diddy saw her face was swollen and bleeding, he reportedly sent Cassie to a hotel. Cassie wanted to go home, but the rapper said no. Cassie claimed she felt unsafe, and she said that she knows and knew Combs' capabilities about his access to guns. Cassie claimed Diddy forced her to cover her face when entering the hotel. Cassie testified that Diddy would put his hands on her during alleged freak-offs. He would push me down, kick me, you name it, she told Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson. She claimed some of Diddy's staff quit over his violent behavior. In November 2023, Cassie filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy. She revealed in court that she settled for $20 million allegedly 24 hours after filing the suit. She does not have any pending lawsuits against Diddy. What do y'all think about all of that? Okay, it is. It's crazy. Cassie has checked into rehab and trauma therapy after her Diddy breakup. Cassie Ventura claimed she didn't want to be alive anymore and testified Wednesday in Sean Diddy Combs' trial that she entered rehab and pursued trauma therapy toward the beginning of 2023 while shooting a music video with another artist. Cassie claimed to suffer horrible flashbacks and went home to her husband, Alex Fine. Cassie is currently pregnant with her third child. Another person, hold up really quickly. Let me continue with this article because I was going to read what these people are saying. Honey, they going in, child. They saying Cassie came pregnant, on purpose because of this trial. That way she can get the jurors' sympathy and the judge's sympathy and, they always try to take it easy, honey, on a pregnant woman. What y'all think of that? Okay, so they continue to say, she told her husband, you can do this without me. You don't need me anymore. Cassie broke down in tears while admitting on the stand that she couldn't take the pain anymore, some of which included her own personal shame. Because a lot of people feel like Cassie is really not a victim. She has gotten money out of this situation. Shit, if you go through all of this, you might as well get paid, is what I'm saying, okay? But some people, though, I've read some of the comments, you guys, and a lot of people, they don't feel bad for her. They say, she was with him for over 10 years. And yes, he was wrong to abuse her and, hit her. And, all of that, but they're saying this was the trade-off. Cassie wanted to be, this big star, and she was willing to partake in the freak-offs. Okay, she was willing to do whatever, she had to do, to make sure her records was coming out. Now, what is this? I'm hearing about a 10-album deal. Like, damn, that sounds like slavery, child. I wouldn't want no parts of it. It sounds like 12 years a slave, child. A mess. So let's see what the people think about this. So one person says, I'm so proud of you, Cassie. Wow, you are a strong woman. I'm glad that you may see some justice here. I read you have a wonderful husband and children, and the Lord has answered a lot of prayers for you. Another person says, Cassie is beautiful. Another person says, do some people realize that this causes PTSD for a lot of people? Everything is not for everyone, especially when you're gaining money from it or anything except for punishment. I don't understand how you could expect money from someone in something so traumatic. Speaking from a victim's point of view. Another person says, I hope Diddy rots in jail for the rest of his life. Another person says, to any haters that show up in these comments, please keep the same energy when Diddy gets out of jail and we show up to your door with our bad boy goons. I'm actually his new artist, and he gave me a record contract before he got arrested. And after he beat those bogus charges, we're gonna get back in the studio to finish up my debut album like he promised me. What? Crazy. Another person says, didn't she get paid already? And this is what the prosecutor wanted. Wow, free P. Diddy. Okay, so on day 4, you guys, Cassie will be cross-examined by the defense. So another person says the hotel should be sued for not calling the police. Yeah, they should be. And then, what is this man I saw walking with Diddy? So it's like people were there, y'all hearing this woman get abused and nobody did anything? This is crazy. Another person says that poor woman is living every victim's worst nightmare. Thank you for coming forward, Cassie, and hang in there. Another person says takes a strong woman to testify against an abuser. May he rot in jail. Another person says they may not get him on everything, but you gotta know they will get him on some of it. No matter what, this guy isn't leaving prison anytime soon. Another person says, I have a strong feeling that Diddy killed, well, we'll say unalive, Kim Porter. She got the same treatment as Cassie, and it's awful. And it's strange that Kim is not alive now to testify against him. Oh, and speaking of which, did y'all hear about that book that Al B. Sure is coming out with? Do You Believe Me Now? Did y'all hear about that? That's gonna be coming out, child. Ooh. Because Al B. Sure, he said that Kim was healthy, before she passed. So he's just like, how did she all of a sudden get pneumonia? I had just seen her. Everything was all good. He had mentioned that it was Kim that was warning him about Diddy. He had always been really cool with Diddy. Diddy was always cool with him. But Kim was telling Al B. Sure, you need to watch your back. Dude is crazy. So, yeah. It's a mess. And you feel bad for his children. And I'm like, why are the children at the court case? Why? Why are they there? Especially the girls. I know some people are like, well, that's their dad. They're there to support. With all of this sexual stuff, like, they don't need to know what they daddy be doing. I'm sure they can read about it. I wouldn't want to be at no damn court case. I thought they all looked cute going into court, but I didn't understand why they was there. So another person says, I truly hope there will be a therapist who discusses the effects of DV in terms of self-esteem, self-identity, and the ability to see the forest for the trees once the first blow is struck and the person stays. The self-esteem is systematically destroyed, making exiting the relationship more and more difficult. It really bothers me that this isn't common knowledge, that people question why women stay without first understanding what happens to a person's psyche when the person they love damages them. I know firsthand that I was a different person, less strong, lesser of myself after the first moment of abuse, which, by the way, was mild compared to what came along later. Oh, that's so true what that person said, and I feel bad, that they went through all of that. Yeah, DV is nothing to play with. You definitely can have PTSD, and she probably has a lot of sexual, PTSD. I heard that she was getting like diseases and stuff from doing all these freak offs. So, in other news, honey, Halle Bailey was granted sole custody of her son after the DDG allegations. Wow, that's good for her. All right, you guys, that's all I have to say about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your girl, Brand New, and I will check you guys out in the next video.